Hello, I'm Pie Guy Rules, and I talk about it so you don't have to. Today's topic of discussion is a beloved internet series coming back for a second run. More specifically, the Nostalgia Critic. I've been following the Nostalgia Critic for I'd say 3 years now, and he's been doing it for 4, 5-ish, something like that. He's been around for quite the while. I know the Nostalgia Critic is not the name of the person behind it, that would be Doug Walker, but it's easier to just kind of refer collectively to the show, the Nostalgia Critic as the show name. So I guess I should say it's been around. But regardless, it has been around for quite a while, and Doug has been producing those videos every week, with a few exceptions, pretty much every week, for 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And it is truly amazing. But recently, he decided to resign a few months ago. With the culmination of the 4th year anniversary, the big finale thing that he did, and he pretty much kind of killed off the character, kind of didn't, plot hole, meh. But what I'm here to talk about specifically is why he decided to quit and why he decided to come back. The review must go on, the video that he did, his comeback video, and then his first Nostalgia Critic episode. So basically, if you don't know who the Nostalgia Critic is, by the way, if you don't know who Doug Walker is and all of that, just Google, that guy with the glasses, and check out some videos under the Nostalgia Critic title. Seriously, if you look at especially some of the earlier ones, there is some amazing videos in there that you really should check out. If you like my stuff, you will definitely like his stuff. And that's the thing. That's why he resigned, because if you look at a lot of his early videos, they're hilarious. And if you look at, some of his middle videos, they're hilarious. And occasionally there will be a video that is just super hilarious, like a super concept episode, like the Moulin Rouge musical review, or the last episode of the first run of the show, like the Scooby-Doo review, or the Room review is like the funniest one. And then there's some episodes that are pretty good, but there's a lot of episodes towards the end that were just kind of, it felt like he needed to put out an episode. This is a movie. There's nothing particularly interesting to talk about, or there might be one or two things, but you don't necessarily remember the review. There's a lot of them that if you told me he reviewed that, I would say, what? Even though I've seen the review. I saw it when it came out. So in that respect, I understand why he wanted to quit, because, he reviewed, some, few hundreds of movies in 4 years, 5 years, something like that. He did all these specials and stuff, and it was just him resigning the Nostalgia Critic. Doug wasn't going to resign all of his stuff. And so I can understand why he wanted to let the Nostalgia Critic go. It was time for a change. I will say that much. I didn't feel like the Nostalgia Critic was really done. I didn't feel like that character, didn't have any more journeys to go on, shall we say, or movies to talk about, whatever. But yeah, it definitely needed some kind of a shakeup. And Doug realized that. But he decided to resign the character, except for special appearances or whatever. And what he did in the time was he did a show called Demo Reel. Demo Reel was a failure. We can all admit it. Listen, you may like some things about Demo Reel, and I may like some things about Demo Reel, but Demo Reel as a whole was kind of a flop. There were only a few episodes made, and it wasn't absolutely horrible, but pretty much Demo Reel was, he was playing a character, and more realistic characters. It wasn't just movie reviews. It was actually a scripted fictional show. It wasn't just guy talking at camera. But the problem with the show, in my opinion, the main problem was that it still parodied movies heavily, and the parodies that it did were very, very obvious jokes, like jokes about the Batman voice, Twilight jokes, all the jokes that are really played out. That's the kind of thing that half of the time on the show was going on, and that's what really killed it. And then the other thing is, unfortunately, I don't think Doug really knows how to write serious drama that well. Unfortunately, this is just my opinion. I'm sure he's probably better at it than I am, but I'm just saying, he had some good moments, but it's not his wheelhouse. He's not used to doing it. He's very much slapstick, and I don't think that really fits in a show that Demo Reel was shaping up to be. Now, I'm sure if it went on, it would have gotten a lot better, and it may have even been a success, but as it stands, Demo Reel, for what it was an experiment, and an experiment that was kind of a little bit of a failure, because it really, at the end of the day, would you rather watch a demo reel episode or a Nostalgia Critic episode? Nostalgia Critic episode, obviously. And even still, I can understand that he would want to distance himself from properties like movies. Like, if he wanted to create his own thing that he could, sell on DVD, call his own property, that's fine. But that's not what he did. He kept on parodying movies like the Nostalgia Critic, but not the Nostalgia Critic. And although he did create some interesting characters, and there were some interesting setups on the show, and like I said, had it gone on, it probably would have gotten better, we all really just wanted more Nostalgia Critic. And I think Doug realized this too. I think Doug was thinking about it himself. And, a weaker filmmaker would have just said, you know what, I'm back, whatever. I'm going to do more Nostalgia Critics. But that's not what he did. What he did was he made a video, like a 40-minute video, that starts off as like a demo reel episode. But weird things happen, like characters start disappearing, and, the people, come back, he hears in his ears and stuff like that. Like, and then, the Nostalgia Critic shows up, and then, it cuts to Doug at his computer writing the script and stuff. It gets meta, and then it just follows Doug, basically grappling with should he bring the Nostalgia Critic back or not. It's a video that truly must be seen, because there is so much reality in that video. It gets a little bit goofy at times. Again, Doug can't write anything completely seriously. And there's some funny bits. I did not like what he did with the nostalgia chick. Like, I felt like it ruined the mood a little bit. But overall, the video's tone is really, really interesting. Because what he does is he goes into, is he coming back because the people want him to come back? Is he coming back because he thinks he could have good ideas? Is he coming back just because he thinks it's the right thing to do or whatever? He goes over all of this, and he makes it clear to the audience that he's coming back because he thinks he has more stories to tell with this character, and because it's what he wants, and it's what the people want. It's both. It's a mixture of both. And he even... this is where it gets really meta and really interesting, is the fact that he kind of acknowledges that demo reel was a little bit of a flop, and he acknowledges that he tried to write something serious, or not necessarily serious, but he tried to write basically a series of mini movies, you could say, or something of a TV series, close-ish to that, and kind of failed. He is no better than the movies that he makes fun of, because he could not do better. And that is the most interesting thing, that he could just acknowledge, and that's why I have a lot of respect for him as a filmmaker and a guy. Like, he's just, he's really honest with himself and the fans. And he really proved that he was coming back for the right reasons. Okay, and the reason I waited to talk about this was because I wanted to see his first episode back and put that in as part of this discussion here. Because it's one thing to say you're coming back, and he said he was coming back on every other video. The two conditions were it's going to be every other week, one, which again I think it should have been a month, but whatever. If he can do it in 2 weeks, then he can do it in 2 weeks. And then the second thing is that he's going to start reviewing newer stuff. And he had a good justification for that technically anything is nostalgia after you've already seen it once. So I believe that he has more interesting ideas to come through. So how was the first review back? The first review was The Odd Life of Timothy Green, and from what I saw, definitely a movie that was worth the nostalgia criticking, the critiquing. Gosh, that movie looked pretty painful. And he did a good job of reviewing it. A lot of stuff didn't change. He's on a pure white background, which, because he moved again, he doesn't have the old background. But I think he really does need a little bit of color in there. A little bit more texture. I don't know, this is just personally, just looking at it in HD, I kind of liked how it was just a little bit like caramel tinted, just a little bit tanny. But, whatever, I'll get used to it. Minor nitpick with that. And then the only other problem that I had, this was, I'll get the bad stuff out of the way, the big problem that I had, the skits. There are now more skits than there were, and the skits involve other people aside from just the NC acting out all the parts. The people that they involve, by the way, are the two other mains from Demo Reel, which I understand that Doug wants to do something with them, because they are talented actors, and they were fun to watch, and he did promise them, it would suck to be promised that, because he stopped Demo Reel, that's kind of the thing. It would suck to be promised to be a part of that, and then not. However, I feel like there were too many skits with those two. I feel like maybe one skit with with one or both of them in the episode, and that's it, in the review. And anything else, it should be the NC pantomiming to himself. Because that, I don't know, it feels a little bit out of place. Because when he starts to include more people, the skits start to get a little bit longer. And it's okay to have one of those in your review. But when you start adding 3 or 4, it gets a little bit tangent-y. And, I mean, he's definitely trying to make it more of a show than just some guy talking to a camera. And I can respect that. What I really liked, one thing that I really did like, was I liked the commercial. He did a commercial parodying the movie with the two, and it went on for a while, but it was funny, and it was good, and it was clever and witty, and it was right like in the middle of the review to break it up quite nicely. That was good. Do that once an episode. Every episode have some kind of commercial or little skit like right in the middle before the actual commercial break, which involves the two of them, the two actors that I'm sorry I don't know their names. Do a skit like that, and then don't involve them in the rest of the episode. I know this sounds a little bit, like, callous, but, the Nostalgia Critic has always been a one-man operation. He'll do crossovers, and he'll have funny cameos from, like, Rob and other people, and I don't mind them cameoing or anything like that. But I felt like they were just a little bit too overstaying their welcome, to be honest. And it might just be my opinion. He might do really good things with it. I might be completely wrong. It might just be a taste thing, but I kind of preferred it when it was more of a one-man operation with these cameos. But I like that he's trying out more, and I like that he's experimenting. I don't know if the theme song at the beginning, he did a montage of really funny clips with like a title card and a cool little intro. I don't know if that's going to be permanent or if that's just kind of for the return video. I liked it, but I would say if it was permanent, he needs to shorten that down, because that went on for a little bit too long. But other than that, I am glad to see that he's back. Had he decided to quit permanently, I would have respected the decision, but I'm glad to see that he's back, and I'm glad to see that he's back on his terms, and I'm excited to see more Nostalgia Critic videos, and that's about all I have to say, so Pie Guy Rules, out. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe if you like me, like this video if you, like this video, and comment if you have an opinion on anything that I just said. Oh, and I also have a Twitter. Follow me at Pie Guy Rules. I usually respond to any comments or questions that I get. Pie Guy Rules, out.